Imagine that reality is not what you think it is. What if everything you've been told about the world is only half true? What if your thoughts create reality and they shape your life in ways you never fully understood? What if science and ancient wisdom have been pointing to the same truth from completely different direction? And what if the key to changing your life isn't out there, but already inside you? Welcome to yet another episode of Truth, Spirit and Wealth. This is Mu. Thank you very much for being here. And this time I want to talk to you about Bashar, or better, the messages that Bashar leaves us. Who is this Bashar? Bashar is the name that is given to an extraterrestrial entity that channels his energy and his messages through a human being called Darryl Anka. Strange. Now, I'm not here doing this video to convince you that this is true. Darryl Anka could be the best actor in the world because he has, in that case, he had convinced people for the last 40 years, or it could be true, or it could be partially true, or Darryl Anka could simply say things thinking that they are channeled from an extraterrestrial, but maybe they are channeled through God, or maybe he simply knows and he tells us. I don't know, I don't care, and I'm not here to convince you about the architecture of these messages. But these messages are really powerful, and they've helped me, my wife, and lots of other people having successful and very happy lives. And from an analysis of what he say, as you guys know, I'm passionate about lots of things. One is quantum physics, the other are tradition, ancient civilization. So I have found out that the messages that Bashar leaves us have lots of synergies and convergence with our most beautiful and important traditions and religions like Christianity and Buddhism, but also with what we learn about quantum physics. So what does this Bashar say then? So you create your own reality. And for those that knows a bit about quantum physics, or they watch some of my previous video, they know that this is a part of, this is an important message that quantum physics give us. Then Bashar tells us to act on our highest excitement without forcing the outcome. This is something else that is clearly said in the religions, but also quantum physics help us. That the reality is a mirror that essentially reflects our inner energy. And again, these are things that can be found in a number of ancient scripts, and quantum physics help us understanding a bit more. That synchronicity is a sign that we are on the right path, and to let go of the limiting beliefs. Now, we are going to analyze each of one of these concepts that Bashar tells us, and we're going to try making bridges between Bashar messages, our knowledge about quantum physics, and the traditions and religions of Buddhism and Christianity. So, let's go. Yes, I've changed location, as you can see, and t-shirt. This is another day, and I continued the recording of this video in different places. I just want also to add a comment. I'm saying religions referring to Buddhism. That's it. It's not correct, but for simplicity, let's keep saying that. And let's go and see 3 minutes of Bashar video, so you have a first contact with him. Let's watch it together.
The whole formula is act on your highest passion every moment that you can, to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can possibly take it until you can take it no further, with absolutely, here it comes, zero expectation for what the outcome should be. Why? Why the zero expectation? I'll tell you. Thank you. You have basically, being a physical being, split yourself into two main components: a physical mind and a higher mind that is non-physical. You need to work together. The physical mind and the higher mind must form a partnership, must form a relationship that works in tandem in order to actually function as a whole person in your reality. But when you allow the physical mind to think that it has to do this, and it has to make this happen, and it must know how something is going to happen, and you get it to focus on all these details, you are giving it more than it was designed to do. You wear it out, you tire it out, and you wonder why you get so many headaches at the end of the day, and you wonder why you're tired all the time. The idea is to understand that the physical mind is simply not designed to know how something is going to happen. It just isn't. The physical mind is only designed to know and to experience what is happening in the present. The higher mind knows how something is going to happen. When you allow the higher mind thus then to know that and to work with you, the higher mind will know how to bring the manifestation to the physical mind for the physical mind to experience. So here is how the idea, for example, of visualization actually works. The physical mind is capable of conjuring a visualization of your ideal preferred reality. And when you see that visualization in your mind's eye, you get very excited about that manifestation, about experiencing that reality. And the excitement is good, is exactly what you need. But the purpose of that visualization is to generate that feeling, that state of being of passion, of excitement. The purpose of the visualization is not necessarily to come into manifestation as your physical mind has envisioned it. Because your physical mind, what it may think, is the most ultimate representation of that reality. What it may think is the absolute top. What it may think is the absolute ceiling. To the higher mind is just the floor, just the beginning of what could manifest. And if you simply stay in the state that the visualization generates within you and then let go of the actual imagery and hand that energy over to your higher mind will actually then bring you the manifestation that is actually representative of that passion state, even though it may look nothing like you imagined. It might, but it might not.
So let's dive into the first Bashar message, which is we create our own reality through emotion and feelings. But before doing that, I just want to be clear that I will go quite quickly in the parallel between Bashar messages, quantum physics, and religions, because otherwise the argument is is huge and it could take years to debate it. But I just want to give you some notes that you can then if you find it interesting, ask a question in the comment and we can keep talking through YouTube, or you can find yourself informations online or offline. There still exist books. So the first message we were saying is we create our own reality through feelings and emotion. And this very much for many of you that probably read about it or listened about it, it sounds like the manifestation philosophy. So you feel it, you think it, you feel it, and it happens. What's the parallel we can make with quantum physics? In quantum physics, there is an experiment that is very famous, which is called the observer experiment. The observer experiment tells us that the mere fact of measuring photons that pass through a material change their behavior and their status from particle to waves. Now, this does not explain that we can think and create things or change the universe. But what does explain, which is a fact, is that we are observer in the reality. And as observer, we are part of this reality. We are not extraneous to the reality. And being part means that we can interact with it. The other the two religions that we are considering in this video, so Christianity and Buddhism. The Buddhist says essentially that we are what we think, while the Christianity is according to your faith, be it upon you. These are messages that devise that, the inner connection between what we think and the way we live and the way we act. As I said at the beginning, there is no any magical explanation. However, beyond what I can believe or you can believe, which those are beliefs and nobody can force anyone to change them, but there are facts that we all can take and go away with. And the facts are that the thought perhaps better say, it's very difficult to convince or to have a proof that our thoughts change the reality. But what is not very difficult to do is to understand and see that our thoughts shape the way we perceive the reality, and therefore also the way that we respond to it. So an ability of managing correctly our thoughts definitely has a huge influence in the way you perceive the reality, and therefore in the way that you feel and you want to feel happy. And that is an outcome that can happen by you training your brain to think in a certain way. So let's investigate the second message from Bashar, which is act on your highest excitement without forcing the outcome. What's the parallel that we can make with quantum physics and with ancient human religions or traditions, or even knowledge in general? So first of all, quantum physics is very clear on that. There is not a fixed future. There's an infinite number of possibilities that can happen. Again, do not be attached to one, to only one, because there's an infinite number that can happen. Also, there are ancient, so everyone knows that the Buddhist says that attachment leads to suffering, and the Bhagavad Gita says act fully, but do not be attached to the result. Similar to what we've done for the first message, beyond what you or and I or other people can believe, and beliefs are personal and nobody wants to change them, what are the facts that we can draw from these parallels and that maybe help us in our life? A very simple fact. When you act with excitement, you are energized, you are focused, and you are engaged. And when you leave the attachment to the result, you become also flexible. The combination between focus and energy and flexibility is where the real opportunity are in our lives. So not because the universe bent to you, although I believe it, but it's very difficult to be demonstrated. So the real fact that everyone can use is that if you are energized and focused on something and flexible and keep changing over time to maintain your excitement, I have no doubt that you will reach an amazing outcome. Now let's analyze the third message that Bashar leaves us, that the reality is a mirror of our inner state. Now, said like that, it sounds like something mystical, but in reality, we all know that mathematics and physics express everything as quantity of energy and functions of particles and waves. And this expression of everything that happens in a universe as a function of waves are the vibration, the energy vibration that Bashar refers to. In our ancient traditions, for instance, we know that the Buddhism says clearly that the reality is influenced by our inner state. And if we look at the Emerald Tablet from the Hermetic philosophy, they say as within as without, so without, better English. And so we have been known, the human beings have been known that there is an influence of the external factors from the internal state for thousands of years. And again, what do we want to take as a fact more than a belief out of this concept? If we change our mindset, then our behavior change. And if our behavior change, the result of our life also changes. And remember that the objective here is to have a fully happy life. Let's now talk about the fourth message, which is synchronicity. Bashar describes synchronicity like everything happens in your life at the right time, in the right way, when you act on your passions with excitement. And we can draw a parallel with quantum physics in this case, talking about entanglement. Entanglement is that quantum physics concept that describes how distant particles interact with each other with no time delay and have an influence on each other's status and behavior. If we look at, if we deviate a bit from the sources we have used for our ancient traditions so far, like Christianity and Buddhism, and we talk about Taoism, the Taoism has a very clear concept about flow, and he described the flow like where everything in life happens effortlessly. And again, what are the takeaway that we can use in our day-to-day life about this concept of synchronicities? That when we are aligned with our goals and our value, our awareness sharpen, and we notice pattern and we act faster on opportunities. And suddenly life seems to click and everything works perfectly. So again, is the mindset inside us that allow us to interpret the reality in a way that help us achieving our goal. Let's now talk about the fifth message and the last one, which is let go of limiting beliefs. Bashar finally says that our limiting beliefs are the only things that holding us back. And this is where science agrees completely. Like psychology and science, there is a concept called the observer bias, in which the models we use to interpret the reality shape what we see. The parallel with ancient traditions for instance, in Buddhism, this is called an illusion, Maya, and in Christianity, it says that be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So again, similarly to what we've seen in the previous four messages, when we change the way we think, and in this case, when we get rid of our limiting belief, we change completely what we see. And if we change what we see, we also change what we believe is possible to achieve, and the risk we are willing to take to achieve those goals, and the actions obviously that we follow through on. And over time, all these changes change completely our life trajectory. So, conclusions. First of all, thank you very much for having listened to me for almost double the time that I used to use with the previous video. But the subject here is quite extensive, and reduce everything to 10 minutes was really difficult. So let's go to the conclusion now. And Bashar, quantum physics, and ancient spirituality are saying the same things, in my opinion, and they are saying it from different angles. 3 key messages. Reality is not just out there, it's something you participate in. Quantum physics shows us the observer matters, and ancient wisdom teaches the mind shapes experience. Bashar, at minimum, what it does, it transforms all these into a formula for living, which is, again, at minimum, a powerful way to take responsibilities for how you think, act, and grow. And when I say at minimum, is because I personally believe in the fact that our feeling shapes the universe, but I want this to be a video for everyone, where believers are not, but the facts are the facts. And at minimum, as I say, this is a powerful way to take responsibility for the way we think, we act, and we grow. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below, and have a good day. Bye.